Utah spent more than $108 million on COVID-19 response, much of that in no-bid contracts. Jim Spiewak sat down with state leaders today to talk about all the spending, and Jim, hundreds of contracts have been signed so far.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Mark. And state leaders go on to say they had to move quickly to protect public health and save the economy. They say all of the decisions were made with both of those things in mind, but some of their decisions have been met with criticism of not enough transparency. So let's try to break it down for you. Of the $108 million, the majority, nearly $74 million, has been spent on personal protective equipment, also known as PPE. The state purchasing director says he received more than 100,000 requests from vendors to sell PPE to the state. He described it almost as like a black market, having to navigate which players are legit and which try to take advantage of the situation. State leaders said that they first heard about the coronavirus all the way back in November of last year. So when asked why they waited until about March to start buying some of this stuff, they said they didn't know how bad it would get and didn't want to get too much too early. So here's Purchasing Director Chris Hughes on the state of the PPE market over the last few weeks. Take a listen.
Not all of them were legitimate. A few of them asked me to meet them in alleyways to deliver the PPE. Others asked me to fly out to different states to be able to meet them, and we just didn't feel comfortable with any of those.
Utah has received about $935 million so far in federal money from the CARES Act. That money must be spent by the end of this year on the COVID-19 response. Now, the state is finalizing a web portal that will show how much money has been spent, what it's been spent on, and if the state has received that product. Representative Andrew Stoddard, he opened a bill file at midnight last night to address the transparency issues over these no-bid contracts during a state emergency. And coming up tonight on 2 News at 6 o'clock, it's a pretty crazy story behind why the state paid 10 times fair market value for testing swabs. Mark?